Kwesi and others have said, it is quite clear that common sense is beginning to prevail in the Electoral Commission. And that's welcome news. I mean, all the measures they've announced were measures that we canvassed and they kicked against. So if they come back to their senses, that's good news. There's one little area, not a little area, a major area, that I am still very worried about. And this is the packing of the EC with card-bearing NPP members. That's frightening. And I do hope that we as Ghanaians will collectively be able to do something about it before December 7th.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But everything I say about this criminal regime is carefully weighed. Now, as for the EC, it appears from the statement being made by my friends in the NDC that there has been an outbreak of common sense. But from where I sit, I noticed that the New Patriotic Party is comfortable with everything the EC does. But why wouldn't they be comfortable? Because with the ouster of Salotase and the installation of the new EC composed and led by Jane Mensah, the EC was effectively converted into a bureau of the New Patriotic Party. Now, the instruments for rigging are still there. One of them is the introduction and maintenance of regional coalition. One of them is the introduction and maintenance of regional coalition, which allows partying to go on if it cannot be done at the constituency level, to be done at the regional level, to assure that results come in the way the regime wants. I look forward to listening to the MPP if and when they go into opposition, whether they will still parrot this nonsense about the independence of the EC, whether they'll be so sanguine to the extent that they tell us the EC's reasons for the crazy decisions that they make. I was also disappointed that the NDC went back to the EC without a clear statement about why they left and what assurances they have received. Because as far as I see it, the IPAC remains a bulletin board. Far from what it had become, which was a platform for generating consensus. And I say this because I was a member representing my party on the IPAC from the period, I believe, 1999 through the low order of the 2000s. I represented my party at IPAC. So I know that before 2000, we were in the same corner with the NPP when we opposed ROPAL. When the NPP took power, when they wanted to reintroduce ROPAL, we went on a demonstration. They beat the hell out of us. Some of my colleagues are dead because of that. So, as for the NPP, well, every time they've been in power, they've turned previously under Kufuor, they just tried to take over contracting and otherwise. But right now, the EC, to all intents and purposes, is a full part of the MPP headquarters. Is what the MPP determines that they do. I think they've decided that, look, this withdrawal of the, what do you call it? Yes, was too blatant and difficult to rationalize. So they've bitten a retreat on that. But the intention remains the same, to steal the forthcoming elections for the NPP. And I still repeat, the NPP still has all the instruments of the executive to ensure that things go their way. They have control of the security apparatus, the police, the military. They have full control of the courts. Full control of the courts. And they have full control of the media. Private media and all. So I'm not very sanguine about the outbreak of common sense that appears to have come up. But there's all to fight for. And we live to see.
Can you imagine? And does it surprise you that even as of today, they are blaming Nkrumah for creating people like John Dramani Mahama and others? Do you know that? They are. One of them actually said on radio that if it hadn't been for that man Kwame Nkrumah, people like John Mahama would have been herding cattle. That is their place. It's Nkrumah who took them out of the vocation of herding cattle, and now they too want to be heads of states. I'm sure all of you heard these statements. And that's a reflection of the context at that time. You understand? That's a reflection of the context at that time. And we should not forget it. Now, if it comes to industrial development, it's another matter. This country was virtually producing nothing. Within 9 years, Nkrumah wanted us to produce our own shoes, our own garments, our own fish and meat. He wanted us to produce everything that we needed under an import substitution program. Come and see how they fought him. Come and see how they fought him. So, in a period of 9 years, Nkrumah actually established more than 400 enterprises for producing the needs of the Ghanaian people. We're producing our own cutlasses, we're producing our own shoes, we're producing our own matches, pine, kania, matches, and so on. And they hated him to the core. So, as soon as the 1966 coup succeeded, one of their prime objectives was to collapse all of those industries and enterprises Nkrumah had established. And that is when privatization started in earnest. Privatization of state enterprises started in earnest. Of course, that project was embraced by the Rawlings-led NDC, PNDC. They continued it with vigor. To the extent that today, we are importing toothpicks. We import toothpicks. We import matches. Matches which are being produced today, we are importing it now. What are we not importing? Chicken